here either. So.
We're in Rochester.
Yeah.
And I was in Washington.
Oh. All right. Well, welcome back. Welcome back. All right. Live stream is up. We're going to start our service on page 6 of our Siddureens with Shalom Aleichem, page 6 of our Siddureens. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Kamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bo'echem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Kamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Ni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Kamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seitchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Kamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Page 7 of our Siddureens, we're going to light the Shabbos candles. I'd like to have a volunteer light the Shabbos candles for today. Everyone's pointing to Pam, so it's going to be Pam this evening.
Glad you came in, right?
Let's see if I can do it this time. Very good. Hey. Come, let us welcome Shabbat.
May its radiance illuminate our hearts.
Light is the symbol of the divine.
The eternal is my light and my salvation.
Light is the symbol of the divine within us.
The human spirit is the light of the eternal.
Light is the symbol of the divine law.
For the mitzvah is a lamp and the Torah a light.
Light is the symbol of Israel's mission.
I, the eternal, have made you a covenant people, a light to the nations.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Blessed are you, O eternal our God, who makes our lives holy through divine mitzvot and has commanded us to kindle the Shabbat lamp.
Amen.
Amen.
May the eternal bless us with Shabbat joy.
Amen.
May the eternal bless us with Shabbat peace.
Amen.
May the eternal bless us with Shabbat holiness.
Amen. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Page 9, we're going to sing L'chadodi. L'chai doiti li'graka la yadadai 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela l'chai doiti li'graka la yadadai 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela shamor b'zachor b'dibur echad Hishmiyanu el chanuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad Lishem multiferet v'lehitihila Lechaitoiti likraka la yadai 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 b'nei Shabbat Nekabela Lechaitoiti likraka la yadai 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 b'nei Shabbat Nekabela Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha Ki hi mekor habracha Merosh mikadem nesuka Sof ma'asa b'matra tehila Lechai doidi likraka la yadadai 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 b'nei Shabbat Nekabela Lechai doidi likraka la yadadai 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 b'nei Shabbat Nekabela Hi ori Kiva ore kumi ori Ori shir daveri kavod Adonai alai negila alechai goiti likraka la yadadai b'nei Shabbat Nekabela alech aidoidi likrakala yadada pene Shabbat. Nekabela, and we face the entrance or exit of our building as we welcome in the Shabbos bride. Boi v'shalom atzeret bala, gam v'simcha uv'vzola, tov emune am segula, boi kala, lech aidoi zilik rakala, yadada, pene Shabbat. Nekavela lech aidoi zilik rakala, yadada, pene Shabbat. Nekavela. Remain standing up the Hatzi Kaddish on page 11 of our Sidurims. Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shomei Rabba B'yalmati rati rutei yanich malchutei B'chayekon u'v'yoymechon u'chayekechol Beit Yisrael Ba'agala u'vizman kariv V'yamaru Amen Yahei Shmei Rabba Mevorach Ve'al Yamalal Me'al Maya Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitba'ar V'yitraman V'yitnasei V'yitadar V'yitaleh V'yitalal Shamei Kudushat B'rehu Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'shirata Tushbechata V'nechemata Damiran Mi'alma V'yamaru Amen. Page 12, we join together for the Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Page 13, we join together in the English. Eternal God, your majesty is proclaimed by the marvels of earth and sky. Sun, moon, and stars testify to your power and wisdom. Day follows day in endless succession, and the years vanish, but your sovereignty endures. Though all things pass, not let your glory depart from us. Help us to become co-workers with you and endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. Blessed are you, O Eternal, who brings on the evening. Page 14, we join together at the bottom of the page with the translation for Avat Olam. With eternal love you've loved your people, the house of Israel. Torah and commandments, statutes and judgments you've taught us. Therefore, O eternal our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will discuss your statutes and rejoice in the words of your Torah and your commandments forever. For they are our lives and they lengthen our days, and we will meditate upon them day and night. May you never remove your love from us forever and ever. Blessed are you, O Eternal, who loves God's people, Israel. Page 15, we join together for the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kivod Ma'ilchuto, Leolam Va'ed. You may be seated for the V'ahavta on page 16. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha ub'chol nafshecha ub'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al vavecha v'shinatan levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shitecha b'beitecha u'v'letecha v'aderech u'shachbecha u'vkumecha u'kshartam ne'ot al yadecha v'hayu l'totafot bein einecha u'chtavtam al mizuzot beitecha u'b'isharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem ekol mizotai Ve'item kiroshim le'lolechem Ahani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti etchem mi'aretz Mitzrayim le'ot lachem Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem Emet. Page 17, we join together with a responsive reading. Eternal truth is that you alone are God, and there is none else.
May the righteous of all nations rejoice in your love and exult in your justice.
Let them beat their swords into plowshares.
Let them beat their spears into pruning hooks.
Let nation not lift up sword against nation. Let them study war no more.
You shall not hate another in your heart. You shall love your neighbor as yourself.
Let the stranger be in your midst, you as the native, for you were once strangers in the land of Egypt.
From the house of bondage and forth to freedom, so that all be free to sing with joy.
Mi chamocha palim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar by kodesh, nora tehilot osei fele, machutecha ra'u banecha rokeyan lifnei Moshe, ze eli anu v'yamru, Adonai yimlok leolam va'ed. ונאמר כי פרע אדוני את יעקב וגלו מיד בזך ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל Yisrael. Page 19, we join together for a responsive reading for Hashkivenu. Cause us, O eternal, our God, to lie down in peace and to awaken us each morning to life renewed with strength. Spread over us the holy shelter of your peace.
Help us to order our lives by your counsel and lead us in the paths of righteousness. Be a shield about us, protecting us from hate and war, from pestilence and sorrow.
Curb also within us the inclination to do evil, and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Guard our going out and our coming into life with peace from this time forth forever.
Blessed are you, O Eternal, whose holy shelter of peace is spread over us, over all God's people Israel, and over Jerusalem.
Page 20, we join together for Vishamra. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asod et ha-Shabbat le'doretan berit olam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asod et ha-Shabbat le'doretan berit olam. B'nei v'b'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam, oti le'olam, oti le'olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asod et ha-Shabbat le'doretan berit olam. Ki sheit yamim asa Adonai, Asa Adonai et ha-shamayim v'et ha'aretz v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asod et ha-Shabbat le'doretan berit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asod et ha-Shabbat le'doretan berit olam. We now rise for the Amidah, the standing prayer on page 21. Once again, Tefillah begins on page 21 of our Siddureens. Adonai sefatai titahu fi agita hilatecha Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzhak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Bekonei Hakol V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imachot Umevi Ge'ula Lifnei B'nechem Leman Shemo B'Ahava Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Abraham Be'ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Li'olam Adonai Mechaye HaKol Atah Rab Lehoshia Marit Hatzal, Mikakel Chaim Bechesed, Mikaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Saimech Noflim Verofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekaye Emunato Lishene Afar, Micha Mocha Baal Givurot, Umidon Melach, Melech Mimid, Umechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman Atale HaHayot HaKol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechaye HaKol. Atah Kadosh, Shishim HaKadosh, Ukoshim B'chol Yom Yehalilu Chasela, Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. We daven silently until page 29, where we'll join together for Oseh Shalom. We'll now join together for Oseh Shalom on page 29. Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru imru amen. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. V'yemeru, amen. Good Shabbos, everyone.
Good job.
Shabbat Shalom. Earlier this week, we marked Yom HaAtzmaut and Yom HaZikaron. And the holidays, they strike a chord within my identity, as I shared in my message that went out to the congregation. As Yom HaZikaron, that is the Day of Remembrance for fallen Israeli soldiers, is fading into Yom HaAtzmaut, that is Israeli Independence Day, Jewish communities across the country are marking the days of observance in different ways. And as an Israeli citizen, today I'm reminded of the duality of my country. From one day to the next we mark loss, then celebration. However, duality is necessary for a healthy country to flourish and fulfill the dreams of both Zionism and democracy. May our celebrations on these days remind us of that calling, Am Yisrael Chai. This message came to a surprise to some. I've shared with some of you and others I've not. However, I am an Israeli citizen. I immigrated to Israel when I was about 20 years old and I served as a medic for national service. And afterwards, I returned to the United States for college, only to return from college once again to reside in Israel and continue as a medic later on. So that is to suffice it to say, I am a Zionist. I love Israel. As Yom HaAtzmaut came this year, I celebrated with Sam Fisher, who'd been coming to our services recently on Saturday mornings at Regency, and I was reminded of my love for Israel. The demarcation of duality is ingrained into my personal identity as well. After all, I am a dual citizen of both the United States and Israel. However, duality is also at the core of Israeli and Jewish identities. We are reminded of this duality every time we read our liturgy from our services. We affirm our Jewish identity, yet at the same time, we're called upon to welcome in the stranger, for we were once strangers in the land of Egypt. This week's Torah portion is no different. Also included are the descriptions on how the Israelites may not shave their corners of their beards. That appears in this week's Torah portion, as well as a set of strict, lengthy laws about sexual ethics and prohibitions. These include the most challenging prohibitions slated against the LGBTQ+ community, which have been since amended by modern rabbis of today. Yet at this end of the very challenging set of biblical verses is one phrase that underscores the relevance of these prohibitions to antiquity. Leviticus chapter 18 verse 24 states, "Do not defile yourselves in any one of these ways, for it is the way of the such nations that I am casting you out from." This final verse suggests that those prohibitions described are intended to keep the Israelites separate from their neighbors, specifically from the Egyptians and the Philistines, who we know from antiquity engaged in marrying both blood relatives and also engaging in other relations that the Israelites were not akin to. As divisive as those verses aimed at separating the Israelite people from their neighbors were, note the paired duality described in Leviticus chapter 19 verse 18 of this week's Torah portion. And Leviticus 19 verse 18 states, "V'ahavta l'recha kamocha," which means love your neighbor as yourself. As I shared on Yom Kippur, reconciling the disconnect between these two themes was central for my formation in becoming a rabbi. As a child, I only saw the prohibitions slated against the LGBTQ+ community with no duality implemented of loving your neighbor as yourself. And I felt disconnected from the religious community as a result and found tremendous emptiness in the words sung by the Yeshiva Boys Choir song, Amar Rabbi Akiva v'ahavta l'recha kamocha zeh klal gadol b'Torah. As Rabbi Akiva said, love your neighbor as yourself, and this is the greatest principle of the Torah. Progressive Judaism offered me a window to embrace the duality I'd never seen before, and that's what attracted me to the movement's calling. At the same time, this message of pluralism and duality echoes my message and the message of Yom HaAtzmaut and Yom HaZikaron of this week. Today may be no different from antiquity in this regard. As we did then, Israel calls upon us to embrace the duality of living a Jewish life while embracing universalism. And the tension is prevalent in Jewish life and Israeli life today as it was once in antiquity. Our thoughts have turned to Israel for Yom HaAtzmaut and Yom HaZikaron. Equally and meaningfully, our minds rest upon the tension and separateness and unity found in this week's Torah portion. And we must remember the calling of duality as we share with Israel as American Jews. Israel is and forever will be our homeland. It is our duty, however, to see to its fruition of prophecy for a just country. We must play an active role and not be passive to the roadblocks Israel faces and is presented. and it is our duty to ensure and protect the duality of pluralism and democratic free Zionism. May these visions of Israel ripen into fruition for peace for herself and her neighbors today and forever. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be God's will. Amen.
Amen.
In just a moment, our thoughts will be turning to the Misha Berak prayer. That is a prayer for all those in need of healing of mind, body, and or of spirit. I have a list that has been presented to me from our Misha Berak list. If there's any additional names anyone would like to have added to the list, after the names have been read aloud, I'd like to ask members of our community to share those names with us. Our Misha Berak list for today includes the following names: Evan Mitchell Wadika, Tsuya Bat Margalit, Ali Souza, Suzanne Wadika, Rachel Batina, Yosef Ben Elka, Vicky Hyatt, Bill Natras, Miriam Mendel Ben Shira, Nachman Ben Malka, Shlomo Levitt Ben Malka, Alan Lewis, Esther Bat Ruth, Yehuda Ben Yosef, Russ Panera, Jeffrey Stein, Jeffrey Koffler, Aaron Evers, Claudia Schafter, Courtney Zabadek, Linda Bloom, Elaine Blitz, Linda Wilson, Rhoda Jacobs, Becky Bunnell, Lindo Gotev, Sylvia Stern, Myra Levis, Evie Schneider, Dr. Sharon, Anita Wander, Sonia Richmond, Susan Skovernik, Marge Estrin, Israel Reuven Ben Devorah Alka, Stuart Kaufman, Ivan Radowitz, Ellen Thompson, Sharon Berman, Mira Mendelbatia, Bat Sora Riva, Yovan Zamos, Asher Ephraim, Brenda Mavora, Brian Leibowitz, Michael Berkowitz, Sonia Richmond, Jose Emma Libros, Eileen Whale, Tone Bunnell, Terry Kane, Hannah Bat Sora Riva, Sharon Beckus, Alan Steinberg, Barbara Steinberg, Alicia Steinberg. Are there any additional names anyone would like to have added to our list for Amisha Beira?
Al Kamen.
Al Kamen,
Larry Eisler.
Larry Eisler,
Steve and Carol Lichtenstein.
Steve and Carol Lichtenstein,
Dolly and Roger Bloomfield.
Dolly and Roger Bloomfield,
Corky Hockenberry.
Corky Hockenberry,
Corinne Liz.
Karen Liz,
Gerald Sherman.
Gerald Sherman.
Wow. Impressive.
Yeah.
Oh, Gabriel Levecki.
Gabriel Levecki. Any other names? Okay, it is our custom to rise as the ark is being opened for the Misha Berak prayer, found at the very back of our Siddurees. Misha Berak Avotenu Mekor Habreka Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misha Berak Imotenu Mekor Habreka Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Could I have said for the door?
You may be seated. Would you like to do announcements now, or would you want to wait until after the Elena for today?
That's why I was like, why are we sitting down and doing
Okay, all right, well, we're going to move on to the Elena. You may stand, rise again for the Elena prayer. We'll get our announcements prepared, but we'll just know that we'll get to that soon. Page 30, we're going to join together for the Elena. Aleinu l'shabeach laidon hakol tate gedula liotze breshit shelo atzana ki aratzot velo samanu kimishpachot adama shelo sam kamkenu kahem v'gor aleinu kichol hamonam v'nachnu korim oy mishtachavim oy motim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shehu Notei Shamayim B'Yoser Haaretz Umoshiv Yekaro Bashamayim Ma'al Ushkinatu Zo Begodhei Meroimim Hu Eloheinu Einod Emet Malkeinu Echazulato Kakatu V'Torato V'Yadata Hayom V'Hoshivota El Avivecha Ki Adonai Hu Elohim Bashamayim Mima'al V'Yal Haaretz Mitachad Ein Od. Page 31. We therefore hope in you, O eternal our God, soon to behold the splendor of your might. Then will false gods vanish from the earth, and the idols will be utterly cut off to heal the world through the sovereignty of the Almighty. Then will all acclaim you as your God, and forsaking evil turn to you alone. Let all who dwell on earth acknowledge that unto you every knee must bend, and every tongue swear loyalty. Before you, O eternal our God, let them humble themselves. To your glorious name let them give honor. Let all accept the yoke of your dominion, that you may rule over them soon and forever. For the dominion is yours, and you will rule in glory, as it is written, the eternal will reign forever and ever. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz. Vayom hahu yeh Adonai echad. U'shemo echad. You may be seated. Our thoughts now turn to members of our community who have passed. I'll be reciting the names from our Yortzeit list, as well as members of our community who have recently passed, and those names that are on our Shloshim list. After our names have been read aloud, if you have any names that you would like to have added to either of those lists, please share with us the name of your loved ones so that we as one community may pray for the elevation of your loved one's neshama, of their soul, to Shemayim above. Our Yortzeit list for today includes the following names: Ruth Schneider, Eugene Curlin, Mary Tuman, Henry Appelman, Francis Offenberg, Manuel Steinloff, Celia Sheff, Ruben Stumacher, Anna Jacobs, Elliot Drobin, Sam Rothman, Ellie Kaufman, Louis Balstein, Louis Peck, Francis Stovach, Sidney Richmond, Daniel Peller. Recently passed from the community are the following names: David Schneider, Raphael Marcus, Florence Schneider, Sylvia Tannenbaum, Florence Gottmacher, Philip Moret, Bruce Fleischig, Eleanor Harris. And as well, we have Lee Benner, an additional name added this evening. Are there any additional names anyone would like to have aside from that this evening? Go ahead.
Okay. Fred Kellogg,
Fred Kellogg,
Judy Merman, McDonald Smith, Larry Burshad, Gail Marcus.
Thank you. Are there any additional names anyone would like to have added to our Yortzeit list for this evening? Okay. If it is your custom, please rise. The words to the Mourner's Kaddish is on page 33. Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah B'alma dibra hirute v'yamlich mahute B'chayekon v'yoymechon uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael Ba'gala b'zman kariv v'imru amen Yahei Shmei Rabbah mivorak li'olam elomei almaya Yitzbarach v'yishtabach v'yitzbar v'yitraman v'yitmaseh V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei v'kudashah berechu Leila mikol birchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechamata Damimran v'alma v'imru amen Yahei Shlama Rabba min Shemaya V'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen Oseh shalom nimromav Hui yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort all who are bereaved, and let us say, Amen. You may be seated. I'd like to invite up Liz for our announcements.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Saturday, April 29th, Torah study and worship, Kiddush lunch to follow, virtual and in person, Torah study 10 o'clock, worship 10:30. Matt Medium is back, adult learning group, Mondays 12:30 p.m., bring your lunch. Operation Wedding Documentary, Sunday, April 30th, 12 p.m. to 2. It will be at the Monroe Township Library, followed by a question and answer with Israel Zalmenson, one of the hijackers. Call the office to register. Support Etz Chaim's Mother Day Coffee Sale. More info on weekly email. Sisterhood, May 9th, 7:30 p.m. Fun game night. If interested in forming a men's club, please contact Rabbi Foley. Social action meeting via Zoom has been changed to 11:15 a.m. every second Wednesday of each month. Next meeting will be May 10th, 10 to 11:15. More social action information on weekly email. Board meeting May 3rd, Siddur Committee May 4th, Student Shabbat May 6th, and the Bat Mitzvah of Sabrina Singer June 3rd. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. All right, we're going to turn to page 34 of our Siddurim from Adon Olam. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Li'et Nasa B'Hevzo Kol Azai Melech Shamo Nikra V'yach Aitrei Kitlot HaKol Levado Yimot Nora V'hu Haya V'hu Hoveh V'hu Yiyeh B'tzifara V'hu Echad V'yein Sheni Lehamshilo Lehachbira V'li Reshit V'li Tachlit V'lo Ha'oz V'hamizra V'hu Eli V'chai Goali V'tzor Hevli V'yetzara V'hu Nisi Umanosli Menat Kosi Beyom Ekra V'ya'ado Afki Ruchi V'yeti Shan V'ya'ira V'im Ruchi Geviyati Adonai Li V'lo Ira. Good Shabbos, everyone. Shabbat Shalom.